3, 2, 1.
Day breaks, mind aches. I'll be running when my feet hit the ground.
Welcome to From One Mom to Another with Cindy Anderson.
I subscribe to the belief that women need women.
As a mother of 7, she is versed in all aspects of the triumphs, joys, and challenges of parenting.
Tap into your own strengths and trust that you are the best mother your children ever had.
And
Give yourself some credit.
take some time to breathe.
You are doing better than you think.
Now here's Cindy.
You are all doing better than you think. Hey everyone, welcome to From One Mom to Another. I am really excited about today's show. As usual, I have my daughter, Stephanie Taylor, with me, and today we are going to discuss one of my most popular chapters in my book, One Mom to Another. It is called You Can't Choose Your Children's Memories. First, a little backstory. For a few summers in a row, when Stephanie's children were little, she would bring them all out for an extended visit in the summer.
Yes, that doesn't quite capture the awesomeness of what it was like to live with your parents for a month and have grandparents just scooping your kids up, taking them off to go do things. Just a month-long party.
It was so fun. And I remember, at one of the first times you came out, I still had Caroline and Michael, which is child number 6 and 7 home. And so I was grandma and mother. I remember having your 3 girls sitting, because I have a rule, nobody sits on my counters, on kitchen counters.
Right.
You probably remember that rule. And all 3 of your girls sitting on the island making cookies, and Caroline and Michael came down. They looked at me, they looked at them like they're on the counters. They looked at each other. They walked over to the kitchen counter, looked at me again, got up on the counter and sat there. And I turned around and I go, you 2 down off that counter.
You know better.
You know better.
Yeah.
That's right. I am not your grandmother.
And on the flip side of that, I don't let my kids hit each other. That's pretty standard. And I would tell them, guys, no hitting. And I would turn then and tackle Michael.
Yes.
As any
That's awesome.
self-respected older sibling does.
Right.
Well, what? Why?
I know. Well, you and Michael, the whole time you were here, had an ongoing kind of ninja attack game going that never ended. And so
it's still, Michael, it's still going.
And so just randomly, one of you would jump out and attack the other one.
Yeah.
And I do remember the one time your kids were actually in trouble for fighting, and then you turned around and put Michael in a head hold. It was pretty awesome.
So when I say it was a month-long party or 2 months or 3-month-long party, however long, because I feel like some summers our visits lasted a month, some lasted 3 months.
Yeah.
My friends would ask me, oh my gosh, isn't that so hard to, travel lots of kids by yourself and, live out of someone else's home? And there are some hard elements to it, but it was just a constant fun party. And it was so worth every hassle, getting out there, getting back.
Yeah. Some of my favorite memories. And, that's kind of the theme. Well, it is the theme of our podcast, is about memories and not able to choose your children's memories. And it was one of these visits that you totally rocked my world.
Oh boy.
There was one day I had Avery up on my lap, and I think you had gone off with maybe one of your sisters or something. Anyway, you had gotten home, and I had her on my lap, and I was singing her some songs, and you kind of stood there while I was, finishing up, and then she got down off my lap, and I said, "Do you remember me singing you these songs?" And what was your answer?
Right.
What was your answer, Stephanie?
That I don't remember.
You don't remember? I was crushed. First off, I had a plan. My plan was that I was going to sing these silly songs, and all my kids would remember them. Not only would they remember them, but they would discuss them and sing them at my funeral. It was going to have such an impact on their life, and you had no memory.
But I will tell everyone at your funeral that you sang songs to me as a little child. Okay, but I I do remember you singing those songs to the younger siblings and thinking, wow, my mom is just this
Yeah.
amazing singer-songwriter. And there was one song in particular that I love that you would sing the boys, and you'd even sing it to me even as an older kid. And I'm going to embarrass myself here and just sing a little part of it. But you would sing, I love you so and so, oh yes I do. I love you, fill in the name. It's true, and yada yada.
Yeah.
And I just thought that is just the cutest song in the whole world. And then fast forward to a drama class that you signed me up for, and my teacher had us do parts of Bye Bye Birdie, and he starts playing your song, and he starts singing along to it, and I'm thinking, I'm sorry, how did you get a hold of my mother's song? Because that is a Cindy Anderson original, I'm sure. And turns out it was actually not a Cindy Anderson original.
Well, I appreciate you sticking up for me. I mean, I appreciate you,
It was,
yeah.
it was embarrassing. It's fine. I'm not scared.
You're not scarred. You're doing okay. Yeah, I just my ability to remember words and songs isn't great, and so I just made them up. I mean, I didn't make the songs up. Well, some of there were a couple originals, but for the most part, I just changed the words, and they're just silly little songs, and it broke my heart because I had really thought that this, every night we would have a song and a story and say our prayers and go to bed. And I thought I was just creating these wonderful memories that would stay in your brain forever. And in a sudden realization, what I had thought I had planned so carefully and so well turned out not to be well at all. And I just thought, where did I go wrong? Like, as a mother, how did I fail in this?
Right.
I mean, I just thought any mistake that I made would have been burned away by the shining memory of a mother who sang to them.
Yeah, no, it probably did. I just,
Sure.
okay, but to be fair to you, I just pulled out an old journal of mine from 5 years ago and was rereading it. And I have no memory of even those memories. So to be fair to you.
Oh, they happened.
Yeah.
I just should have recorded them. But the point that we're going to get here is, our kids are going to remember what they're going to remember. And
yeah.
After I got all over the shock and the dismay, and bless your heart, you were trying to assure me with all your kindness and goodness that you would take up the cause at my funeral.
I'll let the people know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I asked you, okay, so what is your favorite memory of me? And you came up with the following story.
Yes. So, gosh, I don't remember how old I was. Somewhere in my early teenage years, probably. There was that really bad blizzard that came through our part of Indiana, and school had shut down, and it was pretty barely cold. Like, it wasn't like a fun snow. It wasn't
right. No, it was that icy
snow.
Mm-hmm.
But you ended up sending us out in the snow.
Yes, I did.
Even though I believe we protested quite thoroughly our point that it was cold to play out there.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And we will discuss that in a minute.
Okay.
So
but really,
go ahead.
We went out there, and you ended up coming out there with us and playing in the snow with us. And it was really just a fun day. We just played and goofed around, and I can't remember even how long we even stayed out there for, but it was just one of those magical moments where you kind of take a break from the normal day-to-day stuff, and everyone just kind of let their hair down a little bit, and it was just a ton of fun.
Yeah. So to show the other point of view of that day, as surprised as I were that you did not remember me singing you the songs, even though you remember me singing them to the younger kids, I was shocked that that was your memory. And you're right. That blizzard came through on the night before you guys were supposed to go back to school after a 2-week Christmas break.
Oh gosh.
And it had been one of the coldest, snowy Christmas breaks on record. And we had spent most of the 2 weeks in the house. So imagine my disappointment.
Well, as a parent now, I can see your side of why a snow day is not appreciated.
It was announced there was no school. You kids were ecstatic. And you began doing exactly what kids do. And you began to fight. They tried to break up the fights. You tell me you were bored. And I said, outside you go. So, I mean, I don't remember the temperature, but it was cold. I mean, it was cold. So, snowsuits, boots, mittens, scarves, hats. It's like all of you look like Ralphie from the Christmas Story.
Right.
And I would just send all of you out and you'd be like, there's nobody out here. I'm like, have fun. Close the door.
Nobody out here. On a block full of children. And you are the only family standing out there in post-blizzard weather.
Oh, man.
That means something.
I was so grumpy. And you guys would be knocking on the door. Mom, can we come in? No, go play. And now I must say, though, that there were things to do. So we lived in the Midwest. There were no fences. And so our yard and our neighbor's yard, were combined. And there was a nice hill for sledding. We had a pond. You could have gone ice skating, played ice hockey. Winnie was out there with you. Our dog was out there with you. I mean, she could have run around with her. There were things to do. But after about 10 minutes, Mom, it's cold. Nobody's out here. Nobody else's mom is making them play. I would bring you back in. Then we would take off the hats, the mittens, the scarves, the coats, the snowsuits, and the boots. Right. Throw them in the dryer. No sooner did I do that, but you guys would start fighting again.
Okay.
Okay. Out you go again. Yes. Everybody outside. And that cycled around 2 or 3 times. And after about the 3rd time of coming back in, because, now it was going to be frostbite. And
well, yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure somewhere in our dramatic, teenager child minds, we were imagining our toes were
and I think
falling off.
I think you were a teenager, but I think Michael was probably 6. So it was down, kind of young. But, when you've got kids yelling at the door that they can't feel their fingers, that they're frostbitten and that they're cold and nobody else is outside and they want to come in, so I would bring you back in. And every time this repeated itself, I would get grumpier and grumpier. Well, finally, after about the 3rd or 4th time, I said, okay, that's it. We're all going outside, including me, and we're going to stay outside for 1 hour.
And we're going to love it. Play. Gosh darn it.
That's right. We're going to have fun. We're going to love it. And let's go. So we get out there, and we did. We sled. We played on the sled down the hill and threw some snow around. But 10 minutes out there, I'm like, man, it's cold. I think I'm getting frostbite. Like there's nobody else out here. And it wasn't the powdery snow. It was the cold. It hurt going down the sled. I would fall off the sled with you kids. And I'm like, that snow hurts.
Go back inside.
What kind of a deranged person makes her children go out and play?
A woman 2 weeks after Christmas break looking at a blizzard of another few days off of school.
That's right. And in fact, you were off a full week. I think it was like 24 inches of that icy snow, and it was a long week. Anyway, we came back in. At that point, then I put you guys in front of a movie, made dinner, and we went to bed. I felt like I had failed that day. I felt like I was not winning any awards, and it shocked me that somewhere in that day, after the 20 minutes or the 20 mistakes that I made, the one thing I did became one of your favorite memories. And I think that tells us a lot about mothering and being too hard on ourselves and thinking we can plan out everything, which we cannot.
And how forgiving of our bad moments our kids can be. Not that we shouldn't strive to be our best, but
Right.
Our kids don't tally in every single bad moment and hold it over our heads for 20 years. It
No.
kind of falls through this childhood brain sieve where that kind of stuff gets set aside, and what really remains is, you know what, my mom went out there and played in the snow with us, and it was a ton of fun.
Yes. And I think that was really one of the very first experiences I had I wasn't an empty nester yet because I still had children at home, but that started this 2020 vision of, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
My kids don't get up every morning and start looking for all the ways that I was a bad mother.
Right.
They get up and they are happy that I'm there, and we get through the day, and it's in these everyday moments that these memories are made, and they don't. You had no idea that was one of my worst mothering days.
No, not at all. And you can't always control every moment that happens with your kids. So in anticipation of recording tonight for this podcast, I thought I would ask some of my kids what their favorite memories were.
Yes.
I have learned that a key to successful parenting is if you set that bar really low, your expectations, apparently the most everyday things seem amazing. Some of their favorite memories were going and playing at the park and then coming home and reading a story, or going to the library once a week, playing outside, like done, nailed it.
That's right.
Parenting for the win.
That's right.
They mentioned this one game that we used to play. Do you remember the show Wipeout?
Yes, I love Wipeout.
I'm not even sure if it's still on. I don't know.
Reruns are. They are, yes.
But we would watch the show and just die laughing. It was hysterical. So one random night, we decided to do our own family Wipeout course, and we lived in a little apartment. So we got out pool noodles and couch cushions, and the kids had to climb from couch to couch. And my husband and I, you know him as Ben, but
yeah,
for our listeners, my husband's name is Ben. He and I were throwing pillows at him, and swinging pool noodles at them, and kind of pushing them off the couch as the motivator. You remember that motivator part?
Yes. So
we had couch cushions on the floor, and so we would knock them off the couch as the motivator. And so that was a ton of fun. But they just didn't really require any real fanfare or crazy planning involved. I mean,
right.
One of my daughters remembers one of her favorite things was being able to have full access to all of my spices one day, just getting out spices, putting them in muffin tins.
Mm-hmm.
I think she cracked some eggs into it. And if I'm being honest, I was just having a rough day, and I didn't care what that child did as long as she's
right
in the house where I could,
right,
keep an eye on her. But that was one of her favorite, childhood memories. And I think was shocked.
Yes, and I think this is just really something to take in as a mother. I mean, yes, we plan fun things, absolutely, of course. We plan trips, vacation, different vacations.
And those are fun. Because of course, we'll always
fun outings, a girls' day. We go get our nails done.
Right.
All of those things, yes, are part of their childhood. But I think going back to the theme that I always talk about is we give too much weight to days that we think we aren't our best. And
Right.
we think that this is what the kids are going to remember, and it is not. And whatever the careful planning is, even though they might remember some of those things, we need to be prepared that they really may not be their favorite memories.
Right.
And that so after you and I talked, I got a little curious, and I thought I am going to ask the kids what their favorite memory is, because I was sure somebody would anyway, I was curious, and I was hoping that I would get, all your silly songs, which I did not. So I wrote them down, and they're in this chapter. So I just thought I would just read them. And
Awesome.
okay, so starting at the top, these were my kids' favorite memories growing up. Mom and I sitting by the fire reading books and eating red vines. Now that I remember that memory, and that is one of my favorite ones.
Does it get better or more simple than that?
No. Renting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2 and eating pizza as a family.
Oh, that's because for our younger listeners, way back in the day, you could go to a place called Blockbuster and you could rent VHS tapes. Before the days of streaming, you had to actually go to a store, rent the movie, and heaven help you if you own that, or if you keep that VHS longer than your, what was it, like 36 or 48-hour rental?
Yeah, or if you didn't rewind it.
Like collection agencies were coming knocking on your door.
That's right. Renting a Super Nintendo and Mom playing Super Mario Brothers with us. Lying to us about our Christmas presents in order to maximize the surprise factor on Christmas Day. Letting me pretend to be a fireman, archaeologist, and Ghostbuster all in one day.
That is a busy. Which sibling was that? Because that is a busy day.
It is a busy day.
Sounds
I think
like
that
Eric.
was Eric. Yeah, it was Eric.
Love
Eric
you, Eric.
Yes, Eric is my number fourth child, and cute. Okay, supporting me at soccer, even though she knew none of the rules. That was Daniel. And it's a true statement. Every time he ran, I just screamed and yelled, "Yay!" I don't know if he was running in the right direction or not, but I never knew. Oatmeal baths when we had chicken pox. Singing us to sleep with "You Are My Sunshine" and other songs. Thank you very much to that child.
That was probably Caroline.
It was Caroline, and she does have a little bit greater share of the inheritance. I'm not gonna lie.
And I can't even be mad about that because she's amazing.
No, yeah, and it's fair. Being an active partner to help us solve our own problems and teaching us that every problem has a solution. Coming to cross country and track meets all over the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Taking me to Pizza Hut to get a cheese pizza just for me, which is a Home Alone reference. That was Daniel, and we would go and errands,
Right.
and I would bribe them, and we found a McDonald's that actually did pizza.
Wow.
So that was how I bribed him to be a good sport about the errands, and I would always just say to him, "Here's a cheese pizza just for you."
Okay, but can we go back to why is that not a thing anymore?
I don't know. It should be.
Can we
It
do a
should
podcast
be.
soon about things that are no longer around?
Yes.
Yes,
we should. Yes. But, we didn't have all the drive-throughs and the curbside pickups, so at least I had something.
Yeah.
Walking to Maid Marian Park with Winnie, our dog. Pretending not to know about our sneak attacks on the presents early Christmas morning. I didn't care as long as I didn't have to get up before 6 o'clock in the morning. You
kept us
sneak
busy
attack.
for 2 hours.
That's right.
This morning.
You could sneak attack all you wanted. When I was in Little League and had to play a game without my glasses, and I was so scared they would hit a ball to me in the right field. Sure enough, they did, and I could barely see it. But by some miracle, I caught it. You told me afterwards that as soon as you saw the ball fly into the air, you said a little prayer to help me catch it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Supporting me in getting my Eagle Scout. Buying us nets to catch frogs in the pond. Signing me up for a nature class and letting me go exploring afterwards at Sippo Lake with Mark Varner.
Oh,
Do you
fun.
remember? Isn't that
I remember
cute?
Sippo Lake. That must have been Williams, right?
It was William,
Brother
and
Williams memory.
this kid, this Mark Varner, was such a nice kid, and they would go to this adventure thing, and then they would just go hiking. And one day I would pick them up at a certain place on the trail at a designated time. One day those two boys came rip roaring out of the woods, and they had hornets chasing them. They're jumping in the car and go, Mom, go. So we just took off and left the hornets in our dust. It was pretty funny. And then just the last two is the start of summer break family meeting, where we would make lists of all the fun stuff we wanted to do that summer. And every time I'd leave to go somewhere, you'd always say the same thing: remember who you are.
And then, if I remember correctly, Dad would add, and don't let it bother you.
And don't let it bother you. Yes, that's right. I would say, remember who you are, and Dad would yell wherever he was in the house, and don't let it bother you. So, I don't know. You know, this list of memories, I mean, some of them I don't remember.
Right.
None of them really cost much money or any really kind of planning on my part.
It's just the everyday to day.
Just the day-to-day life. And I think we can have confidence in that as we go throughout our day and we are just who we are. And I think this also speaks to mothering according to who you are, right, not according to who you think you have to be,
right,
or what you think you have to be doing. You just be yourself. That's all your kids want. They want you. And as you go throughout your day and you sing your silly songs and you make your mistakes, the kids are not looking at that. They're at your mistakes. They're laughing with you. They're sometimes laughing at you. I mean, it's just a day.
I never laughed at you.
No,
but
nor would you. Nor would you.
William did.
I'll be calling William tomorrow. But my point is that when we mother according to who we are, when we just go through our days, memories are made, lasting favorite memories are made that our children will cherish and remember for their whole lives. And we leave that legacy of love with our children forever. If you get curious, ask your children, what is your favorite memory? And then sit back and be prepared to be surprised. We are out of time. And as always, thanks again for listening. We really appreciate it. You can read this chapter from my book on my website, onemomtoanother.com, complete with some pictures. No pictures of that day. But later on in the week, when I was feeling a little bit better and not so grumpy, and the kids were out playing in a little bit warmer temperatures, I went out and took some pictures of them and included them in the article. And always remember, you're doing better than you think. And as a little note to my children here, I would still like it if you sing my silly songs at my funeral. Thanks. See you next time.
I need some harmony.